Hi everybody, welcome to Harris Family Adventures. If you're new here, my name is Heather, my husband's name is Justin, and our son is Reese. He is 10 years old, and over the next year, we are going to be traveling all around. We're going to start with Branson, and then head to Mexico, and then Italy, and then we're going to travel throughout the United States. If you want to go back and look at any of those announcements about where we're going, you are welcome to. Now, a couple weeks ago or so, it's been a while, I made a video about our packing list for Branson. I'll put the card up. Also a packing list for Mexico. I'll put the card up. And as we are getting closer, we are just a couple of weeks out now. There was kind of a delay because there's a lot of planning in the beginning, and then there's kind of that sit time. And now we're kind of gearing up again. So today what I have is I have two folders. They look just like this. They're the cheapo kind. I just like to have things organized if you're new here. And I have one for Branson and one for Mexico. I don't have one for Italy yet. I'm just like focusing on these two trips first, and then I will have one for Italy, and I'll show you that when I get there. So what I thought I would go through is all of the paperwork side of travel. Now, some people would say that's all electronic, but I will be turning 40 this year, so I feel like I'm in that generation that I still like to have things printed out. Yes, I am the old person from the Progressive commercials, but I've been working really hard on that this week. I kind of was feeling anxious about all of these different pieces that needed to kind of be nailed down and needed to have written down somewhere. And so yes, I like to have it written down somewhere, and then it frees up mind space and I don't have to worry about trying to remember it. So one of the first things that I have out here is actually our 3 passports. So Justin and I will be going to Mexico, and then Reese and I will be going to Italy. So I went this morning and got all 3 scanned. So in my email, I have waiting for me the scanned copies of these. I will be printing them out in color as well. I will probably print 2 copies or maybe 4 copies of me. 2 copies of each person. That way we can leave 1 copy here. If anything should happen, our friends and family would have access to that copy here, and then we'll be taking a copy with us as well. That way, if anything happens to our passports, we have a color copy. Is it as good as the real thing? No. But will it kind of work in a pinch if we need to, and can it provide some kind of documentation? Yes. So please do not hear this me saying a copy is just as good as the actual book. But hear me saying that if your book gets stolen, it is helpful to have a copy to get the process started of getting back into the country. So I have those things electronically waiting for me right now. I will also that way have an electronic copy of them. That's why I didn't just copy them immediately. I scanned them. I will save copies, and then I will also print some paper copies. So this will be for, not for Branson, but this will be for our Mexico trip and then for our Italy trip. And I just have them out because I need to put them back in our safe. I just did this morning. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Branson folder. Now, if you watched again a couple weeks ago, I don't know when it was. Time has really gotten away from me. I have our Branson packing list, and I went through it point by point. Really only the things that have changed here is I have decided on what food kind of that we're taking, and we have decided how we're going to spend our time there. So we are going to be staying in a Verbo house that my dad has rented for us. Yes, we are incredibly lucky, and it's kind of part of, from what I understand, like a resort community. Stay tuned to see the videos and kind of how it all pans out. But there's an outdoor pool, an outdoor splash pad area, an inside pool, and then they have like shows at night, like free shows available. And then my parents also are very good at sitting through timeshare presentations and getting the benefit of it, and yet saying no, so not having to sign up for anything. So they are going to be doing that, which meant we got, I want to make sure I got this correctly. We got 4 tickets for each member of our party, and there's 9 of us going. So each of us got 4 tickets that we could use at a variety of shows. It wasn't all of the shows in Branson. If you know, they have so many, but there was probably 30 shows we could choose from. So we sat down, all of us, kind of what ones we were most interested in, and then, okay, so these 4 people are going to go to this show, and everybody's going to go to this show, and these 6 people are going to go to this show. So we have it all planned out. I had talked about maybe Silver Dollar City. We're not going to do that this time. I love Silver Dollar City. It is just quite expensive once you are bringing 9 people. And with our not our 3-year-old, our nephew who's 3-year-old going to be with us, that kind of limits some of the rides. So we're not going to be doing that. So I will not have to plan and pack for an amusement park, but I will plan and pack for shows. So that's one of the things on my to-do list is I'm just going to wash every polo shirt Justin has. Again, you do not have to dress up for Branson shows, but I think just, something with the collar just kind of kicks it up a notch. And then we'll take some to Branson and the rest will be for Mexico. So nothing else has really changed here. Like I said, the food, I actually have the chicken going right now. So I am doing a whole bunch of chicken breasts in the crock pot all day. I'm going to add some barbecue sauce to them. I'm going to shred them in my KitchenAid, like Jordan Page tells me to, and once it cools down, stick them in a freezer bag, probably double bag them, stick it flat in the freezer, and then when we get there, we just have to warm it up. I'm going to be taking some coleslaw with that. I don't know if I'm going to assemble it beforehand and take it, or just take the ingredients. I've already made it. It's a spaghetti bake of some kind. It used so many pots and pans. It better be good. It better be good. I know you're not supposed to try new recipes, but I'm trying our new recipe. So that is I have a list to go on my list. And these are just foods that I needed to buy for Branson. And then I've crossed off the ones that I've already bought. So like I've already gotten the chicken. I got some butter. We just always take butter. The barbecue sauce. And we always have chips, a lot of chips. Garlic bread. I did buy the disposable pan, so the spaghetti bake is in 2 of those in our freezer right now. That way we just don't have to deal with it. Freezer bags, the spaghetti, eggs, there goes my budget. Parmesan, sour cream, sausage, and spaghetti sauce, because I needed that to make the bake. But then I'm keeping this because a couple of days before we go, I'm gonna need to make another grocery order for some of those fresh fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing. So that's that. We always take lunch meat and cheese, so that's part of this. I hope today, I don't know, this day there's been so much to do. I hope to make a batch of my bread, so it makes 2 loaves at a time. So I thought if I make 2 loaves, this weekend, maybe today or tomorrow, freeze them and then make 2 loaves, and it just, that's a little bit easier. So that's the first thing that I have in here, because this is the first thing I'll be accessing. I'll be pulling this out a lot. Okay, then I also have for Branson just the list of the shows that we're going to, so I'm not going to share that all with you, but look forward to that on the Harris Family Adventures travel, because we're going to be going through that. Okay, the next thing I have is our Mexico stuff. So there is a lot of Mexico stuff here. Let me try and have some semblance of order. It is in a folder, but let me organize it. So I have our Mexico packing list. I will put that card up here. If I hadn't already put it, I don't remember. But yeah, nothing too much has changed, except this was an exciting announcement. I think it was in the last week. The mats are back at the Valentine. The mats are back. So we are going to not have to worry about taking any kind of floaty. So that's exciting. I also have, yes, I told you I'm old. I also have our confirmation flight information from United. We're flying United. Fun note, they had Justin's as his name, and I spent a long time last weekend on the chat hotline with United, and they said because S is the first initial of his middle name, that's how it came out. So okay, great. So yes, I have that information here. Now, fun fact is they've actually changed. These times are not correct, and I have the United app on my phone, and I log in probably once a week, and it's changed probably 3 times. Most of them are not by much. This one, we were originally going to leave at 8, now we're leaving at 6 a.m., so that's a big change. But yeah, I just always like to have that. Okay, Mexico, keep going. I have our Valentine confirmation. Yeah, just our booking number and all of that kind of thing. Yes, I have it on my phone. No, we've never had any problems checking in, but I just know the one day I don't take it, or the one trip I don't take it, is when I'll need it. So I have that. I have the copy or printed, saved and printed conversation with the United Airlines agent who said Justin's name being Justin's is just fine. So if we have any problems, there we go. I have our travel insurance information. I did buy it just specifically for this paperclip, our flights. I bought it specifically for our flights because the Valentine, we didn't have to put down any money. And as long as we cancel within 48 hours before check-in, we get all of, well, we don't have to pay anything. So I didn't buy travel insurance for that, but I did buy it for our airline tickets because I bought these, December 20th. And I was like, heaven only knows what's going to happen between December 20th and June. And then this is the new thing to the folder. It is very exciting. I have our transfer vouchers. So if you watched kind of our typical day at Valentine, I talked about the fact that we have always booked our own transfers, or if we worked with a travel agent, the travel agent has booked those for us. If you stay, and this has been the promotion for a couple of years, but it could change at any time, if you stayed 5 nights or more, the Valentine provided transfers, which is an awesome privilege. Now financially, like, it doesn't make sense to stay one more day just for that benefit, but if you're kind of debating like, oh, do we want to stay like 4 nights or 5 nights, and you're not thinking about transfers, just know that that would be an added benefit. So we have used Amstar in the past. We've used USA transfers, and I was kind of looking at those too. And then I think it was on TripAdvisor, somebody said Canada transfers, and we don't live in Canada. I just don't think about Canada. But of course it's open to US citizens, and it was a way better deal. It was quoted as $78 for 1 to 3 passengers, private transportation in a regular vehicle of some kind. You know, a lot of them are kind of those big extended cab, like minivan situations. I think it was $150 for like the upgraded vehicle. We didn't do that. It ended up being $92 with taxes, but it says it's private, which you just have to go back and watch the other video, guys. I'm so sorry. If you go back and watch the other video, I talk about, and it's not a big deal, but sometimes when you've been traveling all day, now that we're leaving at 6, it's going to be a long day. And then if you have other couples or other groups with you and you have to be dropped off on the way to the Valentine, even though it's not a super long drive to Valentine, it can become quite a bit longer because you're going all the way off the highway, you have to check in through the gate, then go to the lobby and drop them off, and then come all the way back out. And if you do that even 2 or 3 times, it can add some time to your transfer. So I'm excited about this. It is a private transfer through Canada Airlines. So I have 2, we've never used them before, but they said you had to have the vouchers. So I printed 2 because arrival and departure are on the same paper. So, but this is the other thing. Say it with me. If you watched my previous video, I talked about the Cancun airport and how it can be a little bit stressful. I love this. Look at what they did, y'all. They said how to find us. And then they're step-by-step with pictures. These are my kind of, I should have been Canadian. These are my kind of people. And then it has for each terminal, like how it might be a little bit different. They've got a map. Oh, these are my kind of people. So I have 2 of those. That is where the paper clip came from. So I'm gonna put the paper clip back on that. I also have, this is more of that same, I just printed everything that they sent me. I got like 3 emails and a confirmation screen, so I just sent it. So yeah, it's just like our, yes, you paid for this kind of sheet. And then I have, okay, where did it go? I have for Mexico. Here it is. I got these done, I think last time we went, I think I've only used them once before. So we're going to get into the Reese manual. Reese is our son, if you forgot. But what I've always done on the Reese manual is the last page has been something that I just typed up. I mean, of course, the whole thing is typed, but just says, you know, I, Heather, my husband, Justin, agree that, and then I leave it a blank, and I put my parents' name in one of the blanks, and then I put Justin's mom's name in the other blank, can consent to medical treatment from this date to this date, and we've signed it. And I really don't think if he needed medical care, they are gonna turn him away, but I've just always done that. Well, my dad is even more travel conscious than I am, maybe a touch of anxiety. So I don't know how, he found, this is a Nebraska state court form, and it's temporary delegation of parental powers. So it is more official looking. But it basically is the same thing, that from this date to this date, me as the mother is consenting that this other person can have control over my child, basically. and it has to get notarized. So that is a little bit of a tricky thing. I'm trying to find the last form for this. Okay, that can be a little bit tricky. What we've done is we have just used UPS. We went there this morning. I checked beforehand, and they had somebody, because they say they have a notary, but I was like, seriously, like every time they open. So they said between 11 and 1 today. So we met there at 11, and I had these. So I have one for my parents, and I have one for Justin's mom, because Reese is going to be spending part of his time. Oh, he's just all over the place. His schedule is going to be a hot mess. That packing video is going to be out of this world, but basically divided between the grandparents. And so this way, if anything should happen, they can both legally notarized sign for treatment for him. So it makes them feel better. It makes us feel better as well. Okay, I'm gonna have to reorganize all this. I've just made a huge mess on the floor. So you're like, the Reese manual? The Reese manual? What are you talking about? Here it is, the Reese manual. Justin and I went in 2014 to Mexico, just the two of us, and I made a Reese manual, and it has been invaluable. I will say this, you have no travel planned in your future. You have no travel without your children planned in the future. Make a manual for your children, because I can't even tell you how many times I've opened this document when I need information, because it has everything in one place, and it is awesome. Now, I'm not going to show you the Reese manual because it's all of his information, but I will tell you kind of the highlights of it. So I always start with schedule. So schedule isn't like minute by minute, it's just kind of day by day. So for example, in this schedule, it has, he's going with my mother-in-law the first night, yep, and then I have to check. And then she's gonna take him to my parents the next morning. Then he's gonna be with my parents, and they're gonna do some fun things for like a couple of days. And then my mother-in-law is gonna pick him up and bring him back to the house, and she's gonna stay with him here for a couple of days. So it's just really nice. Everybody kind of it's kind of an overview of the schedule of where he's going to be. Then emergencies, and this is the place that I really reference the most when I talk about referencing it. So I start with pediatrician. So I list our pediatrician, the practice, but then I add a note that we've seen other doctors there and PAs there, and we've loved them all. So I didn't want any grandparent to be like, no, we have to see this pediatrician. Nope, anybody's fine there. Then I have medical history. So again, if you ask me to sit down now and give a medical history for my 10-and-a-half-year-old, forget it, game over. But what's nice is I made this when he was 2, so it was all pretty fresh in my mind. And then anytime we would go somewhere, I would just update it with what had happened since then. Fun fact is he's had 6 ear tube surgeries. So like all of those are listed here. If I had to tell you when all of them were, I wouldn't know. So that's really helpful. And I always put, kind of the most recent. So our most recent was that we went for a checkup at the ENT, and they said everything looked great. So yeah, if there's any kind of that information for the pediatrician, that's awesome. Now, I don't have the contact information here. That will come in a bit. I have our dentist, so who our dentist is, the name of the practice, and then I have his, and I will give them our insurance cards also, a copy of our insurance cards, but I have our medical insurance, all of our plan, who it's through, all of that kind of thing, and then also our dental insurance, because that's different, and they need Justin's social security number for that, so all of that type of thing. Prescriptions, so we also have a different prescription plan, so this is really fun, but what pharmacy we use, where it's located, all of our prescription coverage information. The next page, I have medication. I don't think he's ever been on a medication when we've left before, so it just says no medications currently, but then I also add that we have children's Pepto-Bismol, we have children's Tylenol, we have children's ibuprofen, all in our main bathroom here at home if we should need any of those types of things. And especially at this age, he's really good about saying if he needs something. Then the next big section, so I had medication and now phone numbers, and that's where I have our pediatrician's address of the group, their phone number, the after hours number where they can always call and talk to a nurse, along with the hours that they're open with that after hours number, and then our dentist, again, where they're located, and the phone number and the hours. Then also with phone numbers, I have so many phone numbers. Now, if you've seen my packing video, gosh guys, sorry I keep saying that. If you see my packing video, one of the things I always travel with, it's always in my wallet. It's just about this big. and it has phone numbers of those people that I would really need to contact in kind of an emergency situation, obviously 911. But I just carry them with me because you just never know when you're not going to have your phone, or your phone, for whatever reason, you need phone numbers, and I know very few people's phone numbers, which I think is true for most of us. So I have my cell phone number, Justin's cell phone number, Reese's cell phone number. I do have that on there. I added that this time because he's gotten a phone since the last time we left him. And I just thought, this way, if my mother-in-law wants to contact, which I think she has it saved on her phone, but when he's with my parents, or my parents want to contact him when he's with his mother-in-law, it's right there. I have my brother-in-law and my sister's phone numbers. They're not taking care of him while we're gone, but they would definitely be somebody that could step in if need be, I have my parents' house number, and then both of their cell phone numbers. And then I have my mother-in-law's cell phone number, and then my aunt and uncle. Also, they're not taking care of him during this time, but they would be more than happy to step in. So I have their house number and their cell phone number also. So basically, I wanted to give anybody watching him, if they need any help, they have a whole list of people they can contact. Okay, the next page I have, the heading is our travel information. So first I have our flights. So I have, the day that we're leaving, the date listed. We're going from Omaha to Chicago at this time on this flight number. It could change. It could change. And I don't know that, truly, I don't know that anybody's ever opened the Reese manual, but they feel better knowing it's there, and I feel better knowing it's there. So, and then our second flight, again, just the airline number, where we're going, from where to where, departure time, arrival time, all of that kind of stuff, which, especially coming back, that's good information to have. Also our hotel information, so the Valentine's information, if anybody really needed to reach us, and for some reason our cell phones, we weren't answering, it was an emergency of some kind, this would be a great way. Sad story was my aunt and uncle, this is a while ago, were on a cruise, and her stepfather passed away, and they were not reachable by cell phone. And so luckily their son, my cousin, was able to call the cruise line. He had that information, and he was able to call the cruise line and get a hold of them that way. So obviously not something we would want or plan for, but it's just there. It's just there. And then just some information about our house. So that's literally the heading, our house. People will be watching him here. People will be watching him other places. He's going to go camping. But I just start with saying, everybody is welcome to stay at our house at any point if it makes life easier. I think I put that statement on here when he was 2, but if it makes life easier, come on over. We're good with that. I have our garage code listed. I have a friendly reminder. So our garage is attached to our house, and that door can lock, but you don't really remember that it's locked. So I just say, don't lock that door. Trust us. You'll forget, and then you'll be in a heap of trouble. Where the fuse box is, which is above the workbench in the garage, where extras are, so extra toilet paper, extra paper towels, extra light bulbs, all of that kind of thing. And then our internet, like our Wi-Fi situation, the password, all of that kind of thing. So that's all here if someone would need to come here for an hour, a day, a night, whatever it happens to be. Then another page I've had in the past, and I don't this time, so that we reached the end of the Reese manual for this trip. But before, when we've gone during the school year, I have had Reese's typical daily schedules, like what time he usually wakes up and what he usually has for breakfast. Do they have to feed him that? Absolutely not. But just to kind of have some guidance. That's what I would want if I was watching a kid. What time he had to be at school. And I would include then the school's phone number as well as the before and after school phone number, what hours the after school and before school program are open, with a note that, if for some reason he is not able to go to school, you need to call the school and you can leave a voicemail. You need to call our before and after school program. Here's the phone number, and you can leave a voicemail. So I've included that kind of information, as well as any activities he's had. So we've gone before when he's needed to go to golf, and so the golf schedule was on there, like what time he needed to go, what time we usually left to get there in time, where it was, all of that type of thing. So that's just information that we've included. And typically with that, I will also put maps. Now, everybody's lived in this town forever. They can find anything. We all have smartphones, but I just put a map in. It just makes life easier, and they're watching our kid, so I just put a map in. So that is pretty much it for the Mexico folder. Branson, but I have some things for Italy also. So, oh, just as a side note, I do have 2 Reese manuals copied. Obviously, one will be with my parents and one will be with Justin's mom. Okay, so now looking at Italy. Okay, that's Branson. This is Italy. Now, I don't have as much. Like I said, I don't have a packing list. It kind of feels overwhelming. You guys are actually sitting on the Rick Steves Italy book. So I'm hoping at some point, maybe tonight, I'll look through that. Yeah, don't have that. Passports. We're going to need passports. Along with that, oh my gosh, I forgot to say this with Mexico. Okay, along with taking our passports, we will be taking a vaccine card. We are all vaccinated. We are boosted. Reese is not eligible for a booster. I do want to buy the passport vaccine card holder situation things. I haven't bought that yet. So yes, we'll be taking these to Mexico with our vaccine cards. The place where we are going, the Valentine, I've mentioned it many times, they are still doing testing. It is at a cost at this point, but they take care of it. So we're just gonna, Justin and I will get tested 24 hours before we come back. Mexico just lets you in, they don't care. But to get back, we do need that. Italy, as of right now, well, as of like 3 days ago, last time I checked, we need to show the vaccine card to get in, to get our green pass, and then we will have to test to come back. I've looked at, because I know Para DJ with all of their cruises, they do the eMed tests. I actually worked to update some of these things in the United app, and they are offering eMed tests also, but it's a 6-pack, and we don't need a 6-pack. So I don't know what we're doing about that, but yes, vaccine cards go with this. I got on a tangent. I don't remember how I started there, but anyway, okay. No packing list. Packing list to come. Also, so many packing videos to come, y'all. If you like it, you just stay tuned. Subscribe, hit the bell. That's a good reminder. Okay, I once again have our airline confirmations all printed out. There's lots of flights. We're doing lots of flights. Actually, it's just 5, so it's 3 there and then 2 back. So that's good information. I will probably make a copy of this also for my father. Travel insurance. Again, I just did this for the flights. So we're going through gate 1, which I'm really excited about. I booked this in October of 2020. And at the time when you purchased it, you could not purchase the flights to go with it because it was just so far in advance. And I totally get that. I would feel way better if gate 1 was doing everything, flights and the tour, but they're not. And that's okay. So I have the flights and then I have insurance for the flights. That's all that to say that. Because again, this was November 22nd and I was like, at that point we'd only paid a small deposit toward gate 1. So I was like, we can apply that to future things. But I was like, these flights are really expensive. Let's buy the insurance. Then I have a couple of things and I don't know that I'm gonna need this. Again, I think if I don't take it, I will. If I do take it, I won't. So I'm taking it. I had read a couple of times, and it totally makes sense, that if a parent is traveling with a child, they need consent of the other parent. And then there's all kinds of, if the parents were never married, if one parent, like, okay, we're married, we're together. That makes life a little bit easier. So I couldn't find an official. I even went to the Nebraska's Department of Courts or whatever it was. That's not what it was, but whatever. To see if they had a form, and I couldn't find one. So I found a couple and I read through them. It's kind of like when you make a recipe, you like read 7 and then you kind of combine it. So I just typed up, and I'm not gonna really show it to you. I'll show you this. I typed up a travel consent form. So I put his name and birthday and his passport number. I put traveling to Italy, because it said 2, and I was like, well, like we're going like all over. From Lincoln, Nebraska, with whom, so I put my name as his mother. I have our address and phone number, and then I have a place for Justin to sign it. And we also got this notarized. I typed all of the extra stuff then at the bottom that a notary needs to like fill in their name and a place for them to stamp it and all of that kind of thing. And I also have his birth certificate. So I am going to be taking with us this form, this travel consent form, and his birth certificate. So that way his passport proves he's him. My passport proves I'm me. And then we have this birth certificate that says yes, I am his mother, and then we have, and that Justin is his father, and then we have a signed thing from Justin that I'm not kidnapping him, and that I can take him. So, if you guys can see my floor right now. And I guess I do have Italy stuff, so I need 3 folders. Oh, man. Okay, so that's it. So there's a lot of paperwork. There doesn't have to be. Do you have to have all of this? No. Do you have to have passports? Yes. Do you probably need a form to take your child out of the country without the other parent? Yeah. Literally, I don't think anything else you would need. You could easily have it on your phone, flight confirmations, all of that type of thing. But this just, again, it's this big. It's this, it's teeny tiny. Yeah, this doesn't really have any paper in it. But it's still, it's not going to get much thicker than this. And for peace of mind, just take this for a peace of mind any day of the week. So I'm going to get all this organized. I'm going to go shred the chicken and add barbecue sauce to it and get it in their freezer for Branson. I'm going to get some bread started for Branson, and I'm going to spray for spiders because it's like 90 degrees here. So they're like, great, it's summer, we're coming out. So that is all I have for now. Again, stay tuned. I think next weekend I'm going to start packing, which is way earlier than I would need to. We're just bringing that anxiety down. That's all I have for now. Please like this video if you do in fact like it. Let me know that you like these types of things. I would be happy to make more of them. I'll probably have another one with my Italy list, so stay tuned for that. So if you want to see those types of things, click that notification bell to make sure that you are seeing it. And then when you hop on YouTube, you'll just see that little one on the bell every so often, and you might see this face. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.